Welcome to MMA30, the show where we break down UFC for betting, picks, DFS in 30 minutes or less. My name is Jake, and I'm once again joined by Brittany.
Hey, everybody.
We're going to be breaking down UFC Fight Night, DDP versus Usman in OKC this weekend. And if you guys don't know who we are and why you should listen to us, please watch the beginning of our first video. That's where we break down my extensive experience in DFS, which I'll also show you a little bit on this video as well today. And we break down Brittany's experience and background in MMA. And she is actually traveling right now, so we apologize if the internet's cutting out. Hopefully the audio will work just fine.
So before we break down this card, why don't we recap last week, especially how was Vegas and how did round one of the UFC MMA World Championships on DraftKings go?
Yeah, so Vegas was crazy as always. That's probably why I have bags under my eyes and I look like I'm exhausted because I am. I'm full disclosure, Brittany forced me to come on and do this episode, but I'm glad that we're doing it because I just probably would have slept all day long. So, but yeah, I was in the WSOP. It was fun. I mean, I didn't make anything on TV, but I made some money, which is great. I did cash, but more importantly, I made it through round one of the World Championship on DraftKings. So we kind of broke that down a little bit last week, but what it is, it's you have to get through a bunch of qualifiers in order to get there. And then the top 100 people do a playoff, and then 40 of the 100 people advance. So I actually got 12th place. So I advanced to round two. Let me see if I can throw that up on screen here for everybody to see. Boom, there's my ticket. So I got 12th place. And then the next round is actually this weekend. And if there's 40 of us left, the top 15 will move on to a live finale that DraftKings will have, which will be, they'll take us out to a UFC event somewhere, and then we'll be competing for $250,000. So that's pretty exciting. And it's pretty tough to get this far in that contest.
Well, it sounds tough if there's only 40 people in it. That sounds amazing.
It is. Yeah,
so
quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, it sounds like, it really is quite an accomplishment. Like, I was on the plane traveling thinking like, gosh, I hope DFS is going good for you, especially in the World Championship. And turns out it was. So that's great. And then I see what happened with the Conor fight. I asked Jake not to spoil it for me. And of course he spoiled it for me. But it wasn't.
Wait a second though. Wait though, like, can we actually call it a fight? Like, I don't think that was actually even a fight.
Yeah,
like,
it's two. I'm not sure if it's like really should be classified as a fight. You're right. But yeah, it was a letdown. But that's why, you said Holloway was going to win and you got that right. So yeah.
I know your heart was with Conor and we talked about that, but our money and our picks and our bets and everything was with Holloway. And, it was just embarrassing. I saw something, I think today, stood up on Yahoo Sports saying like Conor's trying to get it overturned to be a no contest because, it was such a quick fight and stuff. And, that's some crap. But, overall, I'm glad it went the way that it went because it, helped me make some money, helped me cash some bets, except for the $20 that I put on Conor just for you, just in case he did win while I was in Vegas. Yeah. But yeah, so, and then, helped me obviously move on to the World Championship on DraftKings and everything. So yeah, overall, it was a pretty good weekend.
That's awesome. All right, well, let's break down these fights and talk about how you plan to advance in the live final this weekend. Okay, so this week it's DDP versus Usman in Oklahoma City. Who are you taking?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with DDP this week. I just think that he's in his prime. He's a better striker, better grappler. He's in his, the right weight class. Usman is moving up in a weight class to take this fight. So I think he wins. I kind of want to say by KO. I think Usman's going to get a little bit tired as this fight goes on. I just don't know if he has the cardio anymore in him to do it. But, I will say, Usman does have a chance. He has fought some of the best. And even though my pick for this fight is going to be DDP for DraftKings, which we'll get into in a couple minutes here, I do like Usman as a play on DraftKings this week.
Yeah, I agree. Changing weight class is a big deal. Obviously, Usman is moving up and he's 39 years old now. I know he's fought some of the best of the competition and had a great last fight. But I feel like he's on his way down in his career while DDP is still on his way up, or at least like more stable. Usman is no easy out though. I do think DDP gets it done. Maybe decision, but I could also see a KO.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the whole point, of this show and everything too, is like, we want to basically give our honest takes and everything on this. And, we were talking a little bit about this offline. Like we want to, we don't want to sound kind of wishy-washy, but it's like with UFC, it's very tough to be cut and dry. You can't just be like, yes, this is the pick and this is going to win for a lot of these fights. We want to tell you, the sides of like, what could happen. So yeah, we do like DDP. We're both on that side here, but we do also recognize the fact that, Usman, does have potential in this fight, especially if he can get the wrestling going. But official pick that we're going to go with is DDP. And let's see if we can go 3 for 3 on our main event picks. So DDP is the pick. And just I want to touch on the co-main event a little bit. We've got CLD versus Jared. Jared's always going to be a tough out. He's a vet in this sport. But CLD throws some crazy shots. He's, pretty technical. So I see him getting the win here again. I'm not sure if it's going to be a KO. I would say it's going to be tough to knock out Jared, but he is getting up there in age. You just don't know if one of these wild shots is going to catch Jared's chin. But, I would say CLD is the confident pick, either KO or decision.
Yeah, I'm picking CLD too. And I just want to touch on the Klein versus Reese fight. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Tabitha Ricci. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I struggle with it every time. Sorry. So Klein is a great fighter. It looks good everywhere. I mean, she's a good technical fighter and a very smart fighter. I still can't say the name.
Ricci.
Ricci has the experience. But I'm gonna take Klein here. Ricci is tough though, so I think could be a decision.
Okay. Hey, don't worry about stumbling on the names. I mean, we started off with the worst card ever where we had names that were just like
that was so bad. I hate it when I can't say people's names.
I know. And then we had penis last week, so yeah, it's a struggle with these names, but we'll do our best. And we apologize to any of these fighters if they ever watch this. This is no insult to you for saying your name wrong. So before we get into some DFS bets and underdog plays this week, I wanted to mention to stay tuned for later in this week, probably later today and tomorrow. I'm going to do a madness parlay, which is going to be like a 5 to 8 leg parlay. I've done this the last 3 weeks. It hasn't hit yet, but it's come close. Let me see if I can show last week's up here. Yeah, so this one was close. I had the KO for Patty and the KO for Costa, and both of them won by sub, but came pretty close. It's basically going to be like a violence parlay. This is not something to bet your house on or anything. It's just a little bit of sprinkle if you want to make some money. And then also I will be doing the short for ownership. That'll come out probably first thing on Saturday morning. Sorry, I was going to get that last week, but Saturday was the WSOP and the internet kind of sucked and I didn't get a chance to do that, but I will make sure that both of those shorts do get out this week before the fights.
Yeah, it sounds good. You are crazy with these 5 to 8 leg parlays. I know they're just for fun, but hopefully one hits sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been pretty close. I'm kind of mad that I didn't take like the finish for Patty and Costa because I thought that maybe it could be a sub or a KO. So if I had Godwin finish, the odds weren't as good, but at least it would have cashed. But yeah, I've come pretty close. So we're bound to hit one of these one day. All right, so just to kind of get into the bets for this week, or actually I'll recap last week. We had Holloway. We had Holloway by KO, TKO, which hit. We also liked Holloway KO, TKO round 2, round 3, which didn't hit, of course. We didn't realize how fragile poor old little Connor was falling apart, but we did hit 2 legs of that, so that was good. And then we also had Patty money line as an underdog, and then we also had Patty finish, so those hit last week. We did pretty good. So this week I'm going to give out Barboza. I'm going to give out Barboza by sub, and I'm going to give her Barboza by sub by round 1. I really feel super confident in this pick. I don't see how she doesn't win. I don't see how she doesn't get the sub. And when she does get the sub, I see it coming early in the first round. I think she's just going to take over this fight. But I also want to give out McMillan, and I know this is going to kind of be like, I think it's going to be kind of a public pick. I do see a lot of people on McMillan. You know, he is like an O'Malley guy, so he's got a lot of hype and everything going on him right now. But I really love this guy. I think this is going to be a really fun fight to watch too. It's one of the fights I'm more excited. He brings the action. He's just a tough guy. He, you know, wants to get hit. He wants to hit. He throws his hands up in the air when he's like, you know, doing good shots. So I just super fun fight to watch. So actually looking forward to it. Anyway, so that official pick is going to be McMillan money line, and then I'm going to do McMillan by finish. I could see a sub or a KO, so I'm going to take the finish there. If it comes, it's probably going to be in round 2 or round 3, so I don't hate if you would bet maybe the round 2, round 3 finish. I also like the fight just doesn't go the distance, because as much as I like McMillan, I could also see like him possibly getting his neck grabbed and subbed by Montez, who does have 9 subs in his career. McMillan is pretty green. He does leave his neck out there. I have seen him in some bad positions before. So yeah, McMillan is going to be the side. He's going to be the bet, but I also really do like this fight. Does not go the distance, you know, depending on what the odds are going to get for it.
Yeah, as we said in our breakdown, DPP is the pick, and I like the betting side too, and I'm excited for McMillan. He's one of those like action guys that really likes to make it bloody and bring the fight, so I do see this fight finishing, and I like McMillan too.
Cool. Yeah, and then as of now, there's not like a ton of live betting spots that I like. You know, you could see, again, going back to this McMillan fight, you could see maybe getting him in round 2 or round 3 with the finish. If the fight's going down to the mat a lot, maybe you'd want to like do a little sprinkle on like a sub. If he's just, you know, really kind of piecing him apart in the feet, maybe you want to put in that KO. But there's not a ton of live spots that I really like on this card. So I think most of our bets are probably going to be coming in before this card starts. All right, so let's get into some of our DFS plays. I think Barboza 9,400 this week. I think she gets that round 1 sub, so I think she pays off this price tag. She could definitely score 100 points or more, so she's probably going to be my favorite pick in that high range of salary. I also up here, I do like Ko. I think he's got a lot of upside here. He can bring the takedowns, you know, which can add up and score very well too. So I do like him for that, you know, 100-point upside, especially at that salary. And then I got to talk about Chase Hooper. I really, honestly, I fucking hate this guy just because I'm always off on his fights. Every time I'm on him, he does really bad. Every time I'm off of him, he does really good. So maybe I'm not the person to listen to about this fight, but the model that I use really likes him. So this fight has to be talked about. So, you know, he's not a very good striker. We've seen him get knocked out in his last 2 fights. So, you know, that path of victory is gonna be there. Is, you know, just don't get taken down by a Hooper and throw some shots, you know, at him when he's coming in to take you down and end up knocking him out, and that's how you win the fight. But I just don't know if that's, you know, if that's how this fight's gonna go, because Hooper can easily just snatch a neck. He can take you down with one leg. He can jump on your back and just be annoying. So, you know, it needs to be said that Hooper, you know, does have a really high upside, especially, you know, with the, you know, the takedowns and everything that he possesses. I'm not super high on Hines at 8,300. I just don't know enough about him. CLD, you know, he is the pick to win, but Jared's really tough. So maybe CLD is going to get like a low, you know, decision score, which isn't going to be optimal. I'm more confident. I'll send out some more confident picks when I get the ownership short that's going to come out, but I'm going to go back to McMillan and Montez. I really like this fight. I think you should target this fight. If you're doing mass entries, you should be playing both sides. Again, the pick for me is going to be McMillan on the side. And then Delgado and Bashi at those salary ranges, I think either one of those guys could be optimal. So you're going to want to be on the right side of those. I think Delgado, you know, throws hard punches, maybe could get some knockdowns, maybe you could get a knockout in here. But I'm going to go with the Bashi side, you know, striker versus grappler. I think, you know, Bashi being the grappler is going to be able to get those takedowns and could have those takedown sides. So at his salary, which is 7,900. I think, he's another, good pick on this card.
And what are some underdogs that you really like on this card, especially for DraftKings?
Yeah. So, McMillan, I know he's not an underdog. He's 8,200. So he's kind of that mid-range guy. So I do like, having a lot of him. And, I would say the guy that I'm going to be mostly focused on is going to be Usman. Now, again, DDP is the official pick, but I do think Usman does have a chance. If he does get those takedowns, he, can keep his cardio up for 5 rounds. He could still score really well. He might even find an optimal score, even if he loses. And, then DDP's score isn't going to be fantastic. So, DDP is the pick to win the fight, but for DraftKings, I do like the play of Usman. And then also, like I just mentioned, Bashi with those takedown upsides, 7,900. He's technically a dog. So I do like him. And I'm going to also say Ramirez, just because I just don't know what to do with Hooper. I mean, I see him just getting knocked out the last 2 fights, and I could see it going that way again. So I do like Ramirez, but again, I would play both sides. It's another one I'd play both sides if I was doing mass multi-entry. I'm going to probably have more Hooper, probably 70, 80%. And then I'm also going to have a lot of Ramirez in there as well, because I do think he is a dog that could just land that 1 or 2 shots on Hooper and just put his lights out like it's happened the last 2 fights.
Okay, let's run through the picks again quickly. Main and co-main picks?
Yep. So I'm going to take DDP in the main event, and then I'm going to take CLD in the co-main as my picks to win.
Okay. Favorite bet?
I like the Barbosa money line, depending on where you get it. I like Barbosa sub, and I like a little sprinkle on Barbosa sub round 1. I also like McMillan money line, and I like McMillan inside the distance.
Okay. Favorite DFS play?
I'm also going to go with Barbosa, especially in that high range salary. I think she pays that off. So she's going to be my favorite high range salary play. And then also going back to McMillan, basically kind of copying what my favorite bets are. And then I also like Ko because he presents a pretty high upside with those takedowns.
All right. Favorite underdog for DraftKings?
Again, this is going to be really tough because I always get this wrong when it comes down to Hooper fights, but I'm going to go Ramirez. He's never been sub before. Yes, he's been knocked out. I don't see Hooper knocking him out. So I'm going to say Ramirez, but I'm also going to go Usman as an underdog on DraftKings, even though the actual official pick to win that fight and, bet and everything is going to be DDP.
Okay, well, that will do it for this episode of MMA30. Please like and subscribe and put down your favorite bet for this week in the comments.
Yeah, please do. And we'll be back next week. Angalaev and Gustav. This is going to be in Abu Dhabi. So this card's going to start early. It's going to have an early start time. I haven't checked exactly when it is. So we'll try to get this video out a date earlier, and all of the corresponding shorts should come out a little bit earlier. And you can always follow us on X for updates on when the videos are out, when the parlay videos are out, some stuff on ownership on X. I'm just going to say Twitter because that's how I know it as, but on X, it's going to be MMA show. So please go over there and give us a follow.
All right. Well, good luck in round 2 this week, Jake, and good luck to everyone else as well on their bets in DFS. And we'll see you all next week.
Thanks all. See y'all next week.